To be born as a pigeon. You might think that being born as a pigeon would offer a life of freedom, a flight across wide-open skies. But the reality is far from that romanticized image. To be born as a pigeon is to be condemned to a life of constant struggle, where every moment is defined by discomfort and uncertainty. Imagine, if you will, waking up not in a nest of safety and warmth, but to the cold, harsh reality of the concrete jungle that is your home. The city is loud, overwhelming, and relentless. The hum of traffic, the blaring horns, the constant swirl of human life. None of it cares that you're just a bird trying to survive. From the moment you open your eyes, you are already being swept away by a current of noise, pollution, and indifference. You are a tiny, insignificant creature in a world that doesn't have space for you, doesn't care for you. And then there's the sky. It sounds like freedom, doesn't it? You'd think that, as a pigeon, the skies would be yours to soar in, to escape the madness of the streets below. But no, the sky is a battlefield. You might have wings, but they're not a ticket to liberty. They're a constant reminder of your limitations. Every time you flap them, you're reminded that your wings are nothing more than fragile extensions of your desperate need to flee from the dangers that threaten you. You're not flying because you want to, you're flying because you have to. Every gust of wind feels like a reminder of how little control you have over your own existence. In the air, you aren't alone. No, never alone. Above you, below you, and all around you, other pigeons fight for the same scraps of space, the same flickers of freedom. There's no serenity here, just the frantic rush to stay in the air long enough to avoid becoming someone's prey. And prey you are. You might think the worst threat to a pigeon is the human who flicks their cigarette at you or the child who throws breadcrumbs as if you are just an object of amusement. But no, the true danger comes from above. Hawks, falcons, birds of prey who don't think twice before swooping down, pulling you from the air with cruel efficiency. It's a reminder that, no matter how far you've flown, you are never truly free. You are always at the mercy of something stronger, something faster. And when you aren't avoiding predators or darting between buildings to escape the wind, you're left to scavenge. Scavenge. The world around you is full of trash, discarded food that no human wants. You dive down to the streets, hoping for something to eat. Maybe a sandwich crust, a forgotten French fry, the dregs of someone's meal. But most of the time, it's just garbage. Old wrappers, crushed cans, plastic bottles. The city's waste is a grim reflection of your life, full of things that were once valuable but have been thrown away without a second thought. You are nothing but an afterthought, a leftover that no one cares about. Even when food is available, it's hardly ever enough. Never enough. A few crumbs here and there, maybe a piece of bread someone left behind. You peck at the ground, hoping for sustenance, but it's never satisfying. It's always just enough to keep you going, never enough to make you feel whole. And you eat with the knowledge that there is always someone else there, just as desperate as you, fighting for the same scraps. Your life becomes a blur of hunger, exhaustion, and fear. The noise of the city drowns out any sense of peace, and the buildings tower over you, looming like giants who care nothing for your existence. You've never known what it's like to feel safe, to feel at home. You're just a small, fragile creature in a world too big, too cold, too uncaring. And if you manage to survive long enough to find a mate, what's next? Another pigeon, just as weary and broken as you. There's no joy in it, just the continuation of the same cycle. You'll have your babies, raise them in a makeshift nest, and then watch as they take off into the world to face the same struggles you do. The hope for them to live a better life is hollow, because you know that nothing will ever change for any of you. It's all just a repetition, a never-ending cycle of survival. There's no peace, no comfort, just the grind day after day. And the humans? They don't care about you. They either ignore you walking past as though you're invisible, or they throw things at you. Breadcrumbs? No, they're not for you. They're meant to humiliate you, to remind you that you are a nuisance, something to be discarded. You're the unwanted visitor in their perfect little world. They see you and think only of the mess you make, the cooing sound you emit, the way you're just there, Perhaps, sometimes, you wonder if there's a better life somewhere out there. Somewhere far from the city, where trees stretch up to the sky and the air isn't thick with pollution. Maybe, just maybe, there's a place where you can truly spread your wings and feel the wind beneath you without the weight of fear pressing down on your chest. But you will never know that world. You were born into this one. A world of concrete, steel, noise, and danger. A world where every flap of your wings is an effort, where every moment is spent fighting for your place in a world that doesn't care if you survive. You are a pigeon, a creature who was never meant to be part of this city, but who has no choice but to exist here. Trapped in a world of indifference, you fight for every breath, for every piece of food, for every inch of sky. You were born into this life and there's no escape, no hope of anything better. And as you soar through the air, looking down at the city below, all you can do is wonder if this is what life was always meant to be. To be born as a pigeon is to be condemned to an endless existence of struggle, of fear, of hunger, and of being nothing more than a ghost in a world that's moving too fast to notice you.